Hey, hi, welcome in. Today is Monday the 5th of October 2020. My name's Mike Martin. Now, if you can cast your mind back, I think it was about, could be the end of June, beginning of July, somewhere around there. I mentioned that I had a customer board replacement to do, yeah? And I kept saying that, you know, as soon as it come, we'll do it. Well, in between that, a few things have happened, including the customers and with Amazon delivery, because the actual board that we decided on sort of like got snapped up before we could get it, and they said they didn't know when they were going to get any more deliveries. Anyway, they couldn't get any more, but they actually managed to get a what they call a Amazon warehouse stock. And what that means is usually either somebody's bought the item, changed their mind, bought the item or it never got delivered, bought the item or tried it, didn't know how to set it up correctly or whatever, and they sent it back. So anyway, it's here, and it's the Asus M5A78L, I do beg your pardon, M Plus. This is, as you know, an old system. It's an AM3, but for the client, he's quite happy to carry on using it because the client is quite advanced in years. In its days, it was a lean green machine for him, for his needs. He doesn't do any video editing, he doesn't do any streaming. Basically all he does is check for emails, maybe now and then go make sure, you know, everything's okay in his bank accounts, and just general communication. He's got a little webcam set up on his monitor, which he does video chats here and there with friends and families across the country and across the globe or whatever. So it does his needs. He's got no need for all this mod cons now, he says. It's totally up to him. It's his choice. It's his machine. And plus, guess what? In a positive sense, it keeps it out of landfill. It keeps it going. It keeps it out of landfill, so it's not sitting in a landfill degrading for over thousands of years. So that being said, the board's here, but because it's an Amazon warehouse stock, I need to make sure the board works. Because if it doesn't, you only get a certain window to send it back. And then we can either take it from there, I can then reach out to customers and say, what do you want to do? Do you want to carry on down this venture, or do you just want to forget it and get a new system or whatever? So this video is going to be done in two sections. Today, I'm just going to put the board on my test bench, make sure it works. If it works, then we're good to go. And in the second video, what I'll then do, you'll actually see me constructing the video. Yes, you may have picked up on the error there. I said constructing the video. What I really meant was to say assembling the machine. Yeah, assembling the system. Putting all the customer's parts back in so we can reuse his CPU, his RAM, and that's basically it. So, let me show you. Here's my setup, my test bench. So I've got my test bench, working on an anti-static mat, of course. It's a proper anti-static mat, and it's even got the option, if you want to use an anti-static rip strap, you can just connect it to the corner here. There's a stud for it. You press clip it onto there, put your rip strap on. But if you handle your parts correctly, you won't need to do that. So let's not digress anymore. Let's jump in, get this board tested, and then we'll know if we've got to return it to Amazon or not. Okay, and then myself and the customers can then confer and decide how to move on. Obviously, if it works, then it's just a case of putting it all together again and getting it packed and sent back to the client. Okay, so let me just put my eyeballs on. So let's have a look. So this is the board. Now, this, because it's Amazon Warehouse, this is actually how it arrived. Obviously it had my name and address on here, stuck on the top. But this wasn't even glued down, this wasn't even taped down. It was just like that. It was just delivered by Amazon on my doorstep. Obviously I've took my name and address off for obvious reasons. But when I was taking the label off, the lid actually came up and I looked, and from what I could see, it's never been used, it's never been opened. This is all perfectly smooth, it's not crinkled. From what I can see here, the I/O shield and the SATA cable are still in its area in the case, in bags, totally unopened, all sealed. So let's take it out. Okay, let's take that out of the bag. It's not even taped down, see? With Gigabyte, this bag will be all taped down. You can see the bag's all smooth, it's not crinkled. So I can see it's never been actually used. There you go. One Asus motherboard. So we're going to put that on the test bench and see if it works. So I'll put RAM in there and CPU. Just stick a heat sink on it. I won't even bother putting thermal paste on it because I would say this is just a test. So with further ado, I'll get on with it. So if I don't say anything, don't worry, I've not forgotten you there. So we'll just line that up. And one of the reasons why I like using this test bench as well, it's actually got power switch, power and reset button. I only need the reset switch just to take it, so I don't have to look for no extra power switches, which I have got upstairs. I've took out of all the cases, which I use because I can actually do this without putting it on the test bed. I could actually just put this on the mat and set it up and do it. But I like to be posh. I like to be posh, guys. So put that on there, put one here. Yeah. I'm not screwing down these super tight, but just enough to stop them, so we don't get no shortage. You know, you don't get the board lifting and. Where's that? Just. The board's black, the screw's black, so once it drops and disappears you can't see it. Okay, you know what, I shan't bother with that one. Don't want to go in, so I shan't put it in. Right, so that's that. Okay. Here's the client CPU. I've actually got an X955, X4955. I wonder if that would fit. I wouldn't mind testing that out actually. Let's have a look. Will it fit in this socket? Yeah, it seems to. Well, give that a go. So that's that in, and like I says, everything's intact. Look, it's even. I don't think this has been used at all. I think this has probably been bought and returned, or got lost in post, and then gone back to Amazon warehouse because it's all still in fact. The book's not even creased to show sign of opening. All the documents are still inside. Driver disc, don't use them. Won't be using that. Get it all off the web. Okay, so let me see. Put that back. Put that back in there. Don't need that I/O shield. It's still in there yet. Yep, just a proof here. Look, I/O shield not even been opened. Same as there's a SATA cable this end. not been opened. So this board has not been used, which I'm happy about. So it makes me feel more confident now doing this test that I think everything will be alright. I do. I'm feeling quite confident. Quite confident. And everything's going to be alright. Just put that out of the way there, guys. Okay, so that's the board on, CPU on. Like I said, I'm not putting any thermal paste on yet because I just want to make sure it works. This is the actual customer's actual CPU. That's one I've got, which I think is slightly faster, but I don't know if it works, so I'm just going to test it out. It's been quite a while since I've had it on the system, so it's been floating around, not doing anything, so we'll see. So I'm just quickly attaching we always say just quickly attaching, but these AMD coolers tend to be a bit of a pain to put on. Well, they can be. Anyway, there we go. So, I'm not so much worried about cable management on this at the moment, like I say. We'll just check this out. There we go, that's a fan there, so that's a fan there. Right. I've got the testing power supply here. This is one I took out of a system that was upgraded. Not really a very powerful supply, but it'll do for what we want. This is just for testing, so I'll keep this just for testing. I will replace this. I will replace this power supply with a more modern one at a later date, or if I get a system where they're swapping out the power supply and they don't want to keep the power supply, then I can use it as a tester. But for now, I've got this one, so I'm glad I have. So, I'm going to want to put, some connectivity between the keyboard and mouse. So I'll put my dongle there. This is for a keyboard and mouse. Mouse, of course. So a few things out of the way. Okay. Now, if this doesn't boot first time, don't think straight away that the board's faulty. It could be that CPU that I put in, because I said about CPU floating around for a while, and I don't actually know if it still works. Well, it did work, but I mean, I did not use it. Ooh, oh dear! Please don't do that with your PSU. Please don't abuse your system. So I don't actually know if it's still operative or if it's compatible with this board, but we'll see. So. Go. Yep, that's in. And we want the 4-pin. 4-pin. Oh, that's why I'm going to get a better power supply, one with longer pins I can reach. Okay. 4-pin there. Right, so we're good to go there. So we've got that's power. That's good. Now all we need is some RAM. I've got 2 sticks of, that's off the CPU, I've got 2 sticks of DDR3 RAM, which is what this board takes. So you can see that it is getting on a bit in its years, this system. But like I said, it's not up to me to tell the customer how to spend his money. I can make suggestions. But they're the ones that pay me, so I can pay my bill, so their decision is final, because guess what? It's their money. And it's their system. And he said he's happy with it. There's nothing wrong with it. He said if anything, if it goes, what he'd like me to do is to add some more memory to it. I says, okay, I can do that for you. So, on this board, we've got quad channel. Well, we've got quad DIMM slots, so this will run in dual channel mode or quad mode. So I'm using the black slot, and we'll run it in dual channel mode. Now I'm not putting any hard drive on it as yet. So you can see. So I'm not putting any hard drive on it as yet, but then what I'll do is I'll look up that RAM and we'll get some more ordered for him of the same, if possible. If not, then I'll probably just have to get a whole new set. You know, all the same RAM for the quad channel. It's just for the CAS latency, because obviously the CAS latency is an advantage. So there may still be some about, but it may not warrant for what they might want for another two of these DIMMs, if they're still available. It might be worth just getting the newer brand, the newer latency. Right. Okay. So what we've got here now? So we've got RAM in, CPU and cooler on there. I put my USB dongle for my keyboard and mouse there. It's an all-in-one, so I just need the one dongle because it's tied together. I've hooked up power supply. Yeah, so all I need to do now is just to find the power switch, which is this one. Stick it on here. Stick it on my front panel connector, which are these two here at the back. That should be it. Power. Power to the power. Power to the power. Okay, so what you're about to see here is a classic tech error. It can be made by anyone. Shouldn't be made by a tech really, but is a classic tech error. You'll see me go through the setup, and the main thing I forgot to connect was the video output cable, the VGA cable to the back of the board. So there I was thinking that the CPU that I'd put in that I wanted to test, well, if it was compatible or if it was still working. Well, actually, I found out it was. The main difference is it was only a 3.2 gigahertz processor, and the actual client was a 3.6. So it did work, that CPU, so it is still working, so I'll keep all of it just in case. But as I said, that was a classic error, forgetting to plug the VGA cable in. I only found out my error later, so when you see the next cut, it's where I've rectified the problem. Power to the power supply. Power to the power supply. There goes a U2 strike. We get the U2 strike there. Right, it is in the off position, don't worry, I checked. Right, just apply power to everything. Make sure nothing happens. Okay, power to everything. Screen's just lit up. Power indicator, there you go. That's just lit up. It's not on yet. Flip the power. That's good. I've just switched the power on and nothing's happened. We might say, where's nothing happened? Because if that board had started up when I put that power on, then obviously it could have meant I had a short somewhere, so I could have someone behind the board shorting it, or I could have, you know, the switch could be, you know, not on the right pins or whatever, and it could have just started it up. So now, what I want to see is a post screen that will say no boot device detected error. If it goes on for two, fanny spinning, screen's just gone green, post, okay. It's a 3.6 gigahertz processor, DDR3, it recognises that. Delta on setup. Batteries be running low on this. Press F1. Ooh. One more. Oh. Now is that? Yeah, it's low battery. Batteries are going down. Guys, give me a second here. Yeah, give me a second, guys. I'm going to have to get some. I'm going to have to get a rechargeable set that don't use these kind of batteries. Don't use. There's actually a rechargeable keyboard. Yeah, there's actually a rechargeable keyboard set that I want that has. It's charged up within there. Right, let me see. That'll help my cause. Or if it was just me. It probably was just me, you know. Not really me, probably just me. Let's see. Unlock. Oh no, it's steady. F1 to reset. There we go. So it was the batteries. Yeah, my bad. My bad, guys. It was the batteries. There we go. F1 to run setup. Now I want to see. Go into tools down here. Oh right, there you go. Right. The version of the BIOS is 0502. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I have checked that and I think that is the latest BIOS for that, 2016. Let's hit BIOS flash. Do you want to start? Yes, okay. And it should, if that's 05, it is 0502, right, so that's, yes, 2016. That's the latest BIOS and all the BIOS from that, so you can see from the age of this, you can see from the age of this board, it's quite old. That was the last BIOS, I know it was. I do my research, guys, I do my research. Okay, so we'll press F10 to get out of that. Now it should F10, save configuration, yes, so F10. Now it should come to a screen and it says error, select boot drive and that, but there's no boot drive on there, I'm not setting no boot drive on that. I just want to make sure it works, it does. So guys, thank you for that. The next video you'll see is me actually assembling this in the case and everything. So I just want to make sure it works, because if it didn't work I would have had to send it back to Amazon, but I'm happy with it. And as you can see there, it says no proper boot select selected, press a key. That's to be expected because there's no drive on that. This is just a bare bones boot up, just to make sure it works. What I would have done then as well, I checked the BIOS, because if it was a newer BIOS I would have just jumped on my laptop, gone to the website, get a newer BIOS and updated the BIOS, and then we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm happy with that. So my next video will be me assembling this all back together, getting it ready for the customers. Okay guys, so until then, bye for now. I'll see you soon. Take care of each other, look after each other, be kind to each other. Okay, and most of all, be kind to yourself. Bye guys, bye for now.